All right, everybody, welcome back to Leading Crypto. This is the Morning Hash. I'm CVO. This is Magic Internet Money. Today we're going to cover Bitcoin, most important levels to be considering, concerned with, keep your eyes on, and be aware of. We're also going to cover the S&P 500. We're going to cover some big news and the Dogecoin chart, how they interact and coincide with each other, along with a couple other altcoins, most likely Ethereum, if I didn't mention that one already. DOT and GRT. So if that interests you, be sure to stick around. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. And we'll start it off with our most favorite part. We got Magic with his V-neck on, so you must know that the market's doing well. Magic Internet Money, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing real good, man. I already got a couple trades in this morning. Got my workout in. Dogs walked. So we're off to a good start.
Oh, man, getting the dogs walked is that's probably even better than going to the gym sometimes.
Dude, I don't know if you guys ever hear him, but when he comes in here, he like whines and groans if he doesn't get it. So if I'm on stream, he's just letting me hear it.
Giving you the business, sir. Giving you the business. It's like
I did put a
your
video of him
dog's
on
whining
Twitter as
like
well.
Max's alerts.
Yeah. I put a video of him on Twitter, though, so anybody wants to see what kind of dog I have. He's 9 months old and 70 pounds. He's a big, dumb idiot, but you got to love him.
Hey, man. It's named after crypto, right? No, that's the first one.
No, that's the other one. That's my Jack Russell. He's crypto, and then this one's Baloo. So if you remember, I got him in March right when the bear market was kind of confirmed. And I bought a dog and named him after a bear, and no one took the hint.
Dang, always so methodical.
Yeah, there's always a hint somewhere, you know. So his name is Baloo off the Jungle Book.
That's funny. Mm-hmm. Perfect, man. Well, would you like to start off with taking a look at S&P? I feel like we've got a nice little stretch heading off with that, and then jumping into some Bitcoin.
Yeah, man. Let's rock and roll. We'll get right into it. So if you guys recall, we were looking for potentially a pullback yesterday. So that was kind of the thing that we were talking about. Jumping over the S&P 500, you can see we've opened up off of the gold pocket, this little zone coming into that 39.2341 key level that we need to get back above. Also be breaking our macro downtrend from the beginning of 2022. That's all this is doing, is calculating the year of 2022 into a trend-based tool. It's called a linear regression tool. I just have some custom settings on it. This is going to be kind of an important area because, again, if we come back to this Q3 in 2021 open, this has been pretty heavy support. So finding our way back into this area is not all that attractive to me. Could it happen and still bounce? Yes. So I do think that if both Bitcoin and the S&P 500 are going to continue from here, I think that this pullback is going to be pretty short and we're going to get a nice move up off of it. So getting into Bitcoin, one thing I do want to point out, also something I tweeted out, but we've been talking about this volume for a while. You can see that it is on the decline since our 2020 high and that these are coming into an apex. So we are expecting volatility. The problem is this is still giving us room for another 6 to 12 months even. So keep that in mind. If something like this does break, you can find this on the BLX. I'm on the daily chart. You know, you get that massive volume. Sometimes they're bottoms like right here, right here, right here, or in this case, another massive bottom, which put in our shelf before another capitulation, right? So you've got a multi-year, consolidation, I guess, on the volume in terms of Bitcoin. So put into that what you will. We're going to always trade the levels. So in terms of levels, this was a really simple setup from yesterday. We did talk about this on the stream. So if you were in here yesterday, you caught it. We were looking for 20,904 to 20,688. This is going to be the zone of support and resistance. That is pretty key, just based on math. These are just high time frame averages that I put on my charts, and they've been serving us pretty well in this case. One thing we did note as well, we had this 4-hour SFP right here that had been holding price back. You can see it all the way back here to September 13th. Boom, boom, boom. What have you done? You've back tested it. So you've got a really nice back test. If you were in shorts, this to me is a very early take profit. This is where I closed mine and actually picked up some longs this morning out of a couple of those positions, and then still just holding longs from down below as they are spot longs, and there's no reason to really sell any of that Bitcoin yet. So if you crack 20,904, we're going to the top of the range, and we know the top of the range coming in just above us here. Let me get over to ATAS. I prefer to use this for my range highs and lows. And you'll see 22,145 and 22,327 respectively as those highs. One thing to note is that, I don't remember if we touched on this or not yesterday, but the volume point of control is now $20,000. It had actually shifted down to 19.1 previously, showing you that this was going to be just an absolutely important area to hold on the chart. You've got a perfect back test here before the move up. So now we look at 20K and we can kind of start to conclude that, if we lose 20,401, you're coming down to this 20K POC, which is also the harmonic we spoke about. This is just a butterfly. This would be the first target in terms of structure. So this would be your structural target right here, right around 20K and the monthly value area high. So be an important area to be, hanging on to, because you really don't want to be giving this zone back up after having claimed it. You can clean this up. I try to put that on there so people can see the range a little bit better. But that would be kind of the, if this was a trap, I would wait till this area is lost. If this area is lost, then yeah, you're probably looking all the way back down to this gold pocket here at the TPO POC at 19,150. Monthly point of control is there, I believe even your weekly. So you are leaving some things behind in the range, but we've done that before when we've broken ranges. If we were to break this range, we did that all the way back over here in June of 2021. Oh, there we go. So if you recall, we actually left July, and I think we left that one naked, if I remember correctly. This was the POC that got left behind, so to speak. Leave no man behind, but sometimes you leave a POC, right? Yeah, there you go. So you'd left this behind, and this was actually a pretty big target for us. We had this on our charts for that reason. That's why when we were breaking down from right around that 40, what was it, like 45.5, I think was the SFP level, 45,555, something like this. Once you were breaking down from this region of the chart, you knew that you were heading down. So again, that's how you'll use those things that are left behind, right? And you can see the back test, another really nice level. So that's the importance of knowing that this is here and that more than likely you're going to leave behind an NPOC or two. So if we don't break back into this region, it's only relevant to know that if structure is lost, like we come up here, we don't break the highs, it's a fake out, we start breaking back down, well, you have an immediate target down here to maybe give you a further look ahead of where am I actually going to go on this move down if there is one. So, but till $20,000 is, resistance, the trend is up, but again, just be careful. I said, wait for pullbacks, wait for support, because you want to be buying with good invalidation. This is good invalidation here. 20,400. You had a really good reaction off of it, right? Came down to the level. Boom, great reaction. Lower or higher low, a little bit of a lower low here, but all you're doing is taking session lows, basically. You're just sweeping liquidity, coming back to resistance. So you have a little mini range to trade between 20,400 and probably like 20,000. I would say, what is this, 20,800-ish, give or take, a little $400 range. Resolution of this is going to give you your next target, though. You resolve this to the upside. I think that we can start looking up to about 21.7, then 22. Resolve this to the downside and probably looking down to 20K, maybe even into like the 19,800 level. But I really don't want to be living below that support. So that's what I've got. Make sure there's no questions. Got about 10 of you in here, so that's good. Yeah, that's all I've got on Bitcoin, man. Same levels we've been looking at. There's not much too new. I've been scalping this both long and short. Been a good range to trade. Love the volatility. So
nice. Yeah, it's definitely getting volatile. That's for sure. We've been sideways for so long. I don't know if people know what to do right now, right? And the next coming weeks, I think, are just going to be just as good. We've got some pretty big policy catalysts, some pretty big news and
November
political
2nd
events coming up. We got which it's always interesting to note that right before these Fed meetings, especially you do a lot of the Fib times that we've come to know and love, especially in the group. And this entire year, every single major date has been on a FOMC meeting, and you've had those dates projected for 2 years out already. So it's very interesting to note. But it's interesting also that, like, when we have like a CPI date, for example, it's like the market really just like holds its breath, stands still until like that morning at like 8:30. But anytime we get around these, FOMC meetings, it's like a few days before you always kind of get these, wild moves. And then leading into it, and then of course you get the day of, and that's kind of when the charts are usually like overbought or oversold, and then we're waiting for that last little whiplash move. So it'll be interesting to see how things kind of correlate and line up on Tuesday, and then we have the elections, midterm elections, the next week after that. So definitely got a busy and fun month coming up, I think, in November. And then Thanksgiving is definitely when everybody tells their family to buy crypto at the Thanksgiving table. So that pumps the market. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But no. Thursday, we're heading into the weekend, so that's something to keep in mind, right? So we got the CME is going to be closing tomorrow night. There is with traditional markets, there's ebbs and flows between the weekdays. You do tend to get, sometimes some bigger moves at certain times of the week. And this week, I think we pretty much are getting that, right? That Wednesday, Thursday move, and kind of into the end of the week, it might slow down a little bit. See how it goes, I suppose. And then sometimes you get like altcoins moving, or even Bitcoin itself, I guess, you get some pretty wild weekend moves, and then we give it all back up when the markets reopen on Monday. So will be an interesting couple of days coming up. As for Ethereum, looking at this, we've been in this range for so long. This was our fresh entries area. This was that golden pocket area. The Q2 POC was really the main area we were looking for while we were up in this region, right? If you had missed any of this opportunity down here, we were looking for just kind of how Magic was just alluding to. If you get move higher, you're going to automatically know if we start breaking back down for Bitcoin. You've got an NPOC possibly. That's a big area you'd want to. It's not necessarily your buy-in area, but it is a target, right? So it's very similar to how you can utilize some of these things, some of these regions as well. For me, this was more of a spot entry for mid to long-term hold. And I was also prepared, and still am, prepared to take it down towards this $1,034 region, the untapped daily, even the range low, right? As many as you know, I have only 3 areas I'm looking to get into Ethereum personally. But this was a main one, right? So taking off from there, quarterly key level. At the time, this was untapped. This was while we were sitting around this region. This was our confirmation to some degree for continuation to the upside, right? You had zooming into this a little bit. And right here, right, it's also the EQ of the entire range. You got the quarterly key level right here. You can see that we broke through it, came back down, got the back test, and been off and onward ever since. And kind of zooming back out here, right? Right now we're kind of in like it looks like we're in the middle of no man's land. This is an old daily from basically last year as well. You've got basically coming into the quarterly, the Q3 high is just about in this region as well. So it's got some resistance here. One thing to note is, even though this is an exciting time frame at the moment, you still really have, a high, a lower high. And if we start pulling back from here, this would just be a lower high as well, right? So it's still something to really keep in mind. Bitcoin's got the same structure at the moment. Not to say we couldn't just continue upward and onward, but just, as always, try to keep a level head. As far as the next major targets for me to the upside, we're probably going to consolidate here for a little bit, possibly even pull back towards the quarterly once more. And then I imagine we're, going to challenge up into this untapped weekly towards this 1756. This daily up here is really just a pit stop if we start making our way higher. Got the untapped monthly at 2200 and the overall range high here. And that's what really, and then anything to the downside, you get any crazy, just, drops back down, still at the same levels below us here. So local golden pocket does come in, like pretty much depending on where you're pulling it from, all the way back down, basically at the golden pocket, or, a little bit back here, right? Basically just kind of back testing these highs back here. But, at the moment, I don't necessarily know if we're going to get that low of a pullback unless we start actually heading lower. All right. So news today, right? Trying to incorporate a little bit more fundamental fun, and I guess Elon, right? He's making his way to the big house, coming into the Twitter HQ, bringing the kitchen sink. Interesting to note, one thing I love to pair up, right? We were talking about this yesterday, is that you can use, or it's almost the same news catalyst can be used for positive price action and negative price action, right? Like literally, it just the market's going to go the way it's going to go, and then the news that comes along, aside from something that's a policy procedure. Can be used for, like, if we had a dump in the market yesterday, it could have easily been said that, oh, Elon took over Twitter and he's letting go 75% of the staff, right? That would made the headline make sense for why whatever the crypto crash or Doge crashes or anything like that, right? That's well, we had a pump yesterday. Elon's coming in. He's suggested that he's going to be letting go of 75% of most likely remote workers at this point, I would imagine. But market pump. So because Elon's coming in general, it's being paired up that's the reason why. So let's take a look at Doge. Let's take a look at the chart. Let's see what's going on.
Bullish on dog.
What's that?
Said bullish on dog coins.
Push on Doge. I was going to say Magic. I can't remember. I know last year you had maybe it was Bitcoin, but was you had something going on. It was right around like the high, and I'm thinking maybe it's the 5.0 you pointed out just on Bitcoin. But were you looking at Dogecoin last year at all or no?
I looked at Dogecoin for some friends. This is before me and you were linking up, but like I looked at Dogecoin and it was trading at like 2.2 cents. Back on the old YouTube channel, I gave a long call on it. Now I was only calling for like 25 cents. So it went to, 80 plus. So I did have a setup on it. I don't think anyone thought Doge was going to go that high, but it did. But no, I don't really mess with Doge too much. I did kind of tinker with it when we first got together in December of last year. In the old Telegram days, I had a chart on it, but it was just in a straight downtrend. And we were looking to get back inside of a range, and it was more of just a trading idea. It wasn't actually a like, hey, buy this and hold Doge.
Right.
Of course, I'm never a buy and hold Doge kind of guy, but
Doge was definitely, if I did nothing else in my trading career, I had 200 million Doge back in 2017 that I probably spent like $200 on and just dumped it probably for a loss even, a year later. And it's always interesting to look back on that, because even at where it's at today, you're very right though. It's the one that really got away from everybody, and it's like nobody anticipated it going this high, this and that, and then
everybody.
now you got the case of it's always going to be the when you try to tell somebody if somebody's saying, oh, this is going to go to this price, or this is going to go, Shiba for example is going to go to $1 or whatever, it's like. And then like, well, Doge, that's what they said about Doge. That's what they said about Doge. It's like forever going to be that ingrained in people's minds that, I guess, they said the same thing about Doge.
Yeah.
So, be interesting
to see. The Dogecoin millionaire. He has a Twitter. He's probably got way more followers than me, but let me pull him up. Let's see if we can find him. I think Slum Doge Millionaire is his Twitter. He has 227,000 followers. That makes me upset. But I guess his investment portfolio on that move went up $27,000 in a day is what he was looking at. So
yesterday
just holding it. He's up to 300,000 now. So technically he's up $41,000 in a day on the
nice
on this Doge. We know he's not going to sell any of it or take profits, so it doesn't matter. But interesting that this guy's got his whole net worth in there. I think that's kind of
he was at what, 2 million at one point or so, or was it just 1 million?
I think it was just over $1 million. And he was just dead set on $1, I think, and he didn't take any profits, and because $1 never came, But
if it's 7 cents right now, and I think he was at 70 holding it. I mean, still, because obviously, unless he's put more in now at the low, he might have had 3 million at the high.
What's a Doge card? Anybody know?
What is it?
He's got like some stuff he's got some links in his bio. One of them's like his Instagram. The other one's like a Gmail, a tiny URL, which is his YouTube channel, and then get Doge card. I don't know what that is. I'll look into it though. Does that mean you spend your Doge like a debit card? Maybe
he's pushing it. He's probably funding people.
Dude, him and Elon. I wonder if Elon follows him. It'd be interesting.
He should. It probably is Elon. puts a beanie on and he becomes him. But yeah, so taking a look at the Doge chart here, a very small quarterly range here that we were kind of tracking. One big one, which I'll get into that in a second here, is we were looking at this for quite a while, and honestly, it was really all about the confirmation for buying into it, which is exactly what you want to kind of strategize with. And it would have really protected you from the drop, I guess, right? So we'll kind of go over that in a second. But here in quarter three, right, had small range here. We were living outside of it. As you can see, I zoomed in on lower time frames here. Really could not get back into this region until yesterday, and got back in. And once again, you kind of would have to have alerts set on this, and then really paying attention to some of the lower time frame. Because on a 15-minute chart is pretty much where we got the reclaim in here in the range. And from there, obviously it was onward and upward. So we rotated this range in full pretty quickly, got the breakout, back test again, and then we were on to the next one here. It does look like a pretty big move when realistically, yeah, it actually is a pretty big move. So, I mean, from the low, it's like 40% to the high. And where would it be going next, right? So kind of zooming back out a little bit. The range that we're talking about before, right, is this larger one above. And one thing to note is that we were living outside this for quite a while. The entry was right here. Obviously, your stop loss would have been back below the low once again. So I know a couple of people in the group actually even got into this, got to take profit here. And then they had their stop loss set up here for this reason, right? Because you would have protected yourself, especially in a short-term trade. I mean, anything, either you don't want to be holding a 30-40% drop. But this did drop 40% before now we're back to where we were. So that is the key to, having those major areas of inflection. So you know where to put your stop loss at, and then consider for the reclaims. You can start going short at these regions. It's really, really important to kind of have that in mind. And also to have these levels in mind for when we get these quick moves, because now it's, what is next, right? Is anybody's looking at FOMO, like the average person, I don't think, or the average person that's been in crypto is probably not FOMOing in a Doge, but this is where the new investor or the anybody that kind of came in at the high, like it's just Doge is really, really good at inciting the excitement in the market. It's really similar to XRP and a couple of others. You can get a 50% push out of another altcoin and people won't even bat an eye. But if Doge pushes 40%, you bet your bottom dollar that everybody's going to be talking about it. So from here, I would imagine we might come back down, back test the previous high here, about 7.5 cents. But for me, still looking for the reclaim of the low above us at 8.2 cents. From there, you can start putting a stop loss just below. Really, for me, I wouldn't even suggest putting, leverage on any of this. I'm just putting up and showing an opportunity here that, you got a really, really big area of opportunity above us. We've got several key milestones in the middle here, and just to rotate this range is a really, really nice move, right? It's like 70 over 100%, right? So not to say that that's a guarantee by any means. You do have a daily here for a take profit. We've got an untapped monthly here, another daily level here. These two dailies would be probably nothing but really pit stops. And then you got a really big area coming in as you got the golden pocket, you got the point of control mapped out around 12 to 13 to 14 cents. And one of the last areas we came up to was that yearly open and got the back test before we came all the way back down. So really big area up here towards the high. However, don't really get too crazily involved. You do what you want to do. I wouldn't get too crazy involved if I wasn't already in a position until we start coming back into this range a bit. So definitely think there's some upside, especially if the market continues onward and upward. Might get some consolidation here, maybe today, maybe even through the weekend. But yeah, that would be what I'd be looking for and anticipating. Very, very interesting to see, just how I'm going to pull up two other like Cardano and something. I mean, there's several charts that look like this, and it's just from, everybody will just say, oh, Bitcoin's pumping, the market's pumped. Doge is one that is always accompanied by a perfectly timed Elon Musk move. It's very interesting to like see somebody in his power like that just, feeds into this so much. He really has to have some kind of like major hand in like the project to where he's gonna, I don't know. It's very interesting. His tweets back in 2021 were so perfectly timed, and just it's just always very integrated in the Dogecoin price action with something that comes out of his mouth.
I think it's because he just likes memes so much. It's a meme coin, and I know I'm serious. Like I'm pretty sure at some point he even said that. So he's an interesting guy. He said if he wasn't who he is now, he'd be a stand-up comedian. So
I guess so.
how
But
he would be is whatever. But I do enjoy his Twitter.
I do too. I mean, I think it's great. I just think it's always interesting to note. Like it's like he's got to have a team of analysts that are just like, all right, Doge is at a key point. Like make sure you put out a tweet about it or something like that.
Speaking of Twitter, are you ready for the future of Twitter, where we have a world where Donald J. Trump is quoting tweets from Joe Biden and responding to them? It is going to be a shit show. I'm all about it. Bring it back.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That'll be fun. We'll see how it all unfolds there. All right, so in proper fashion here, let's just take a look at since we've been peeking at Cardano the last few days. We were looking for a pretty quick move back into this region, right? We got a back test so far, so he's still kind of not necessarily the best thing to see at the moment. Could very well get a slight pullback once again. At the moment, if you're really not involved with Cardano, I'd really be looking for that reclaim of 41.5 cents, right? So for anybody in the group too, if this, once again, this is like more of a mid to long-term hold, not a short-term trade idea. So weeks to months, right, for this to play out, and this would be a spot idea. But, this would be your area where you would set your alerts to basically cut your loss, protect yourself from the downside here. And then essentially you'd be looking to, buy back in where you sold off so that you wouldn't really lose anything. Obviously you wouldn't have gained or lost or, danced around in this mess here. But at the time you didn't know if we're going to continue heading lower. And that's really where you want to put the probabilities at, on your side. So here, if we start to come back in and reclaim this level, it's, probable that we're going to continue onward and upward, right? So for me, that's what I'd really be looking for still is that 41.5 cents. Got a really nice cluster of area up here. We've also got a slew of some targets above us as well. So, all right. This weekend, I'm going to be updating. This is the 1 year anniversary. We were talking about this last night in our members only live stream. This is the Halloween weekend, right? The notorious 500% blast off for like 10 coins or even like a ton of things on Coinbase last year were just exploding on Halloween weekend. It was pretty much like a week before the top of the market, right? It was all the metaverse coins, so Sand, Mana, a couple others as well. You were seeing some major pushes. You had all the small cap coins going crazy on KuCoin. So I'm going to do an update on a couple of the ones like Sand and Mana over the weekend. And we're going to go over those on Sunday in the members only market update. It's crazy. We've already been in this for a year now. All right. GRT, we went over this one last night in the group too, but I did want to kind of touch on this one today. I think it's got an interesting looking chart. Very, very simple, clean, 6 areas to be paying attention for. Got kind of this, for anybody that would be looking at this as a little pattern, you got a little rounded bottom coming in here. You could maybe make a inverse head and shoulders. You got Adam and Eve double bottom, however you want to cut this up in a pattern. When realistically, you really just want to come back up and get back in this range. So coming back up, we're at 8.2 cents right now and essentially let's call it 8.9. Come back in, get that reclaim. We got the quarterly VWAP aligning with this as well. So flipping that into support would also be ideal. And then for that, you got to clear invalidation points, put a stop loss at below the value area low here. And then we've got untapped quarterly key level. Point of control is obviously our natural target up here. And then we've got a little pit stop at this daily, untapped quarterly. And this would obviously imply that the entire market's probably going to be doing well to get into these regions. But this would be your areas you'd want to keep in mind to take profits at, right? So, and then coming up into this golden pocket would be a big one up here, like 36 cents. So that'd be a really big, this is like a 200+% move. And at the moment, that sounds crazy, but we've seen this out of Quant, we've seen this out of Matic, and if Bitcoin and Ethereum do move higher to some of these levels we're anticipating, then yeah, I mean, the altcoins are going to really flourish, right? So as in normal fashion. So just kind of have your ideas in place, your levels mapped out, your strategy, and for both sides at that, right? So even right now, like technically, you wouldn't really want to get involved with this right at the moment. You really want to wait for the confirmation of the reclaim here, and you may miss out on 7%, right? But you're protecting yourself from maybe this just melts down, right? So that's the idea, as always. Yeah, if you time it right, the Dogecoin. I mean, we messed around with Doge and Shiba a lot, and not to say that we probably won't now. Even it's just they on a leverage play. Like it's just everybody gets so wrapped up in too much leverage. Like you could go 2x, 5x, do these things with some of these altcoins, but everybody goes like 50x and 20x, and then at that point you're really harming. You're doing yourself a misjustice or whatever it's called. But disservice, only because if you don't have something mapped out, right? So
I said, if you're not at risk of liquidation, are you even really trading?
Yeah, that's true. You got to get it right on the cusp.
Yep.
All right. Let's see if we got any questions in here. Mario P, how you doing? OC, the H bar breakout is next.
Could be.
Big community. Have we looked at algo in a little bit? I can't remember if we did.
I had a pretty big macro area on algo that we're just accumulating. I haven't worked up any recent charts on it because it was just kind of I bought some, but it's not like a huge position for me. But I do have some just because I know that we're in the area where I said I would buy it, basically, because I knew when I called the breakout on this back in 2020, it was trading in the same range, and I was looking for I think it was 27 and 29 cents from way over here. So I'll go ahead and share my chart, and we'll take a look at it. And if you have more low time frame stuff, you can. I don't have anything for the relevant day to day on it. I just have more of a macro look. So get that up. Algo. So yeah, this comes into the CVO joke of the power bottom, because when we came down to here, I was basically playing this range, kind of like DOT. You had a really nice low into a resistance that we knew we had to get back above. And then you kind of just fiddled around here. But in reality, you can see you're in a downtrend, right? Downtrending. So this is your macro breakout right here. Okay, so I'll go ahead and get rid of this for just a second. This was the areas I was looking for our run up. I believe it was right here when I made that video. It was actually one of my most popular videos at the time. And it was popular because I told people I was going to get out at like $2. And I think it went higher than that. It went to like $3. But I told people I was getting out at I said my first take profit's 60 cents, which, it's just 100%. Anyone that doesn't take profit 100% up, you got to take some. You don't have to, I guess, but I think you should have a plan. I got shit on in the comments because they were like, this thing's going to $10. And I was like, fuck, are we really going into a bull run? These guys are already acting completely irrational. But I guess that just you're just born with that. Yeah, I was really looking for this 33.32 cent. This is a big area. This is your POC here of the old range that we were in terms of this guy. So I was looking at this as an overall structure. You can see from here to here. Let's change this color scheme up to the new template. There we go. So you can see a little bit better. But you can see how you broke down into this region and then finally broke out without coming back to it right here. Now we're back inside this range, meaning that this is the point of control. So 33 cents is going to be an area that's going to be contested. We're going to see if this is going to be support or not, if it can get flipped. You're really looking for 40 cents here to get flipped and then 50 cents, just kind of even round numbers there. But if you start living outside of this, yeah, you've got some room to come up for sure. So if you're looking to accumulate 33 cents with the risk knowing that, price can dip all the way down to this 21 to 15 cent region, if you're just trying to get the best average because you think that this is a good coin to accumulate. I think it's one of those ISO coins. Yeah, this is the place to start in my opinion. So Algorand would be rated as an okay buy. That would be for me. It's an okay project. I own some of it, like I said, which I don't buy a lot of altcoins. That. So yeah, algo. That's it. You're in this. One thing I do want to note, though, is if you find your way back into this zone, and I am on record as saying this, that if you found your way back into here, you would spend a long time down here potentially consolidating. And we've been down here for a little bit now. Came back down in on the 11th of May, and we're all the way out in October. So come November, that's going to be 6 months down here. So last time this took from August basically of 2019 all the way to the breakout in, looks like, is that January 21? So that is 18 months. Is that correct? Yeah, 18 months, give or take. So 17, 18 months. So it took a long time. It was over a year down here. So I don't expect that we have to maybe wait a whole like 18 months for this. But don't be surprised if it spends time in between these low levels. That's not a bad thing. This is where accumulation happens, right? So this is where you want to be looking at this project potentially, if you are buying it because you believe in it, whatever it may be. So that's all I got on algo.
ISO 2022, baby.
Changing the date, whatever they're doing. I don't know what they're doing. They're doing something like that.
Changing the date?
Isn't that what ISO 2022 is? It's just some compliance thing where like there's a date format that got changed with it. Like there's a lot of people that dismantle the XRP argument and some of these other coins because they say ISO 222 really isn't anything. It's just a date change, kind of like from when you went to Y2K. But I don't know enough about it to really have that formal of an opinion. I've just seen people arguing about it. And you know how I feel about that type of stuff. I'm just there to post a meme and troll one side and then leave the conversation and never come back and do any research. Because I'm just going to trade the chart at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what I think of the coin or the fundamentals. I'm always going to trade the chart on it. So yeah,
my man, here to stir the cauldron and leave.
Yeah, pretty much
Halloween style. Yeah, and just, pretty much on a shorter term time frame, what I've been looking for is just the claim of this 3 month. And then we've got, once again, just a really small range here that I've been playing around with. For anyone looking at this as a pattern too, you can kind of dress this up as a little Adam and Eve double bottom, possibly, I guess, with the measured move basically takes you right to this golden pocket. Right. So at the golden pocket, what you'll be doing anyways would be, this would be a target to the upside. We'd be looking for it either way. At that point, however, you'd be breaking out of this range, possibly get a little back test here. And then really for me, I'm just looking for this untapped quarterly at 52 cents. So short term wise. And then from there, obviously reevaluate. But yeah, possible to even come up to these region though, and then just rotate the range back in full as we've done several times already too. So really want to see that breakout to the upside, really above like 35 cents. For more continuation to the upside here. You really wouldn't even be coming up and taking out this high until about 40. So something to keep in mind as well. So very possible to just kind of stay range bound for a while. Just basically what Magic was saying. If we stay in this region a little bit longer and accumulate before we change the date, it's going to be my next thumbnail. Put the ISO logo up on there if there even is one.
I don't think there is.
All right, man. Thursday. Is there any big movement going on right now as we're kind of talking? Was it 10:48, couple hours in New York?
Not really. I'll pull it up one last time here. We'll look at like the low time frame stuff.
Yeah, get into the crack.
Yeah, the crack is very real with Bitcoin. So you can see I've only got a few things on the chart. I'm going to get rid of your weekly VWAP here. So we already know high time frame what we're looking for, the levels we want to see holding. 20,401. And then really want to see this previous week high and Q3 open, old daily pivots down here that didn't get tapped. Also going to be that value area high for the monthly range. So that 20K POC, it's all there. It's all kind of a zone. But for now, you're putting in lower highs, right? But you're not really breaking down either. So you're still holding this low right here. The only thing I've been doing is trading the forks, So again, we're looking for continuation of trend, but we're also looking at this as consolidation. So you could have just been playing off of the EQ and the top here. Anytime you're back in, go to the EQ, go back to the top. Same with when you're looking for downside. This is more for the breakdown. So if you're looking at this as, okay, when's the next leg down for me to potentially take some profits, which this is the test of that 20,401 level. Let me just put that on the chart real quick so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Right here. So you can see that. You broke down out of your channel, came down to support. You've now back tested your old trend. And now you're coming back to support. So again, this is just support and resistance. We have a mini range going on. You could flip this as well for trending price action to the downside. same pivot points. And you can see, again, EQ, which is what we're aiming for when we get inside of these. And then you have your outlier here at the top. And you can see that you're coming into resistance. So I'm just trading this as a trend, trading this, on the daily. And, your daily profile is going to look like this, basically letting you know that you are range bound at the moment. But the moment one of these levels gives, we're going to get our next targets met. So it's either going to be targets to the downside, or we're going to get targets to the upside with a clean break above. So very, very simple in my opinion. I don't know what's going on in New York here. Let's take a look. Yeah, you're at the New York VWAP in the daily right now. So, you're kind of chopping around this VWAP. Not always the best look when you're up near resistance to be giving up the VWAP intermittently and never actually claiming it, because you want to see price trending above your VWAPs. So if you start reclaiming the VWAP and getting some moves above, reclaiming this 20,688 level, holding as support, that's going to be a good indication that it's going to make an attempt at these highs again. And that'll probably transpire, either taking the highs and SFPing them, continuing the range, or a break to the upside, right? So that's the alternative. But that is it.
Nice.
That's it for me today, guys.
Chris has got some ISO news for us.
Looking at some comments here. FWI, my job was to create metrics and document our QA process. The federal government audits compliance within the companies they do business with. Okay, there you go. I think it's just a compliance issue. So shout out to Chris with the knowledge. Sounds like he's actually got
with the deets.
Yep.
I mean, it came in strong.
Somebody helped me with my computer a while back too. Smart guy.
Yeah, Chris is good. Chris is good people. Who was it? Nick Sells, GMT. Was this the one we were talking about last night?
Yeah, this is the one I was supposed to. I feel like it was.
I think it was GMX.
I know that's yeah. So I'm looking at this one and I'm like,
this is like stepping or the movement.
Yeah, that's right. That's the one that this is different.
Yeah,
this is.
I did look at the GMX. It's we could address that one. We could probably do that one tomorrow. I think that'd be a good one for Friday.
Yeah.
But as far as GMT, similar to like Cardano, similar to Doge, what we were looking at earlier, just looking to get back in the range, right? We deviated it for a bit here. Got the quarterly VWAP kind of above us, has some resistance, kind of aligns with this weekly, but really be looking to get up and claim the 52.7, I guess, cents, if you want to put that in a key there. Let's call it 53 cents, just get up above 53 cents. And then probably looking back to run this back here a little bit here for GMT. Got a pretty nice range above us, and some nice little targets to the upside.
I thought this
really
thing was
big
a
range.
scam.
What's that?
I thought this was like one that wasn't the Steppen app like a scam or Ponzi scheme.
Well, Steppen might. This is like I think one of the move to earns.
Okay, I thought this was their token, so I'm looking at the chart and I'm like, man, I figured this thing would just be.
Oh no, it's not forced. It just like came out around the same time.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what I'd be looking for. Just basically claim 53 cents, and then you got your stop loss below there, and we'd be looking to take it up. Point of control would be a big one up here, back at $1. Be a big move, obviously, about 100%. So will we get it is the question, but we could definitely try. And yeah, tomorrow we'll go over GMX and a couple of others as well as we kind of wrap up the week. We will have a guest on tomorrow, Mr. Alchemy Meta. So it'll be fun. He's pretty big in the stock market world, but then he switched over to crypto. So he's been covering Bitcoin and alts for quite a while. If you're not following him on TikTok or YouTube, be sure to at Alchemy Meta, alchemy.meta. But he'll be on with us tomorrow. Magic's getting up at 4:50.
I was 4:54 was my first post in the group.
Yeah.
Dude.
Pretty sure we were still up last night at like midnight talking.
Yeah, I was up pretty late, but it's fine, dude.
The grind doesn't stop. Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of a quiet Thursday after the last 2 days. So that's pretty much all. I think that's all we got. So
right at the end, private dating chat girls. Twin, get on it, man.
That's they were waiting for us to finish up, so they knew everybody's about to leave, need something to do. Go get that date, Magic. You've been up all day, man. You already put in a full day. It's got to be like midnight to you right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I'm gonna go to the gym after this, get my second workout in, get in a run today, and then I've got my daughter's recital this evening, so I won't be on debate. Obviously, you'll have that one locked down, and then I've got what is it? Oh, parent teacher conferences. So that'll be fun. So I'll get to find out, how the kids are doing in school. That's always a fun conversation. My daughter's a lot like me. She talks constantly, and she doesn't listen very well in school. So we will see how that goes this time around.
Nice. Parent life, man. I couldn't imagine.
It's a game changer.
Yeah. All right. Well, perfect. Well, we're leading crypto. This is the morning hash. Be sure to tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. We do this live with you all week long. So tomorrow we'll be on once again with our guest. If you are interested in joining the Leading Crypto Discord server, our information to do so is in the description box below. Otherwise, be sure to have a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Until next time, everybody, cheers.